Hey everyone, this video is all about foundation color matching because let's be honest, it can be super confusing. Finding the perfect shade isn't always easy, but today I'm going to break it all down for you. And just so you know why you should trust me, I'm a professional makeup artist with over a decade of experience, and I worked for Dior where I became a color stylist. Throughout my career, I helped thousands of women from all over the world, each with unique skin tones and preferences to find their perfect foundation. And today I'm sharing all my best tips with you. So first things first, you must understand your skin tone and undertone. Skin tone means how light or how dark you are, and it can change due to sun exposure, tanning, or other environmental factors. However, your undertone is the subtle hue beneath your skin. That's your stamp you have been born with. It stays consistent even whenever your surface tone changes. So what happens if you get your tone right but the undertone is mismatched? Well, you may turn too ashy or too gray. That means that the product is too cool for your warm undertone. If you turn too orange or yellow, it's too warm for your cool undertone. If you just look a little bit washed out or dull, it's not suited for your neutral undertones. Now, let's start by figuring out your undertone. The most reliable approach would be the vein test, and the best way to see them clearly is under natural daylight. Take a look at your veins on your wrist, on the inside of your arm, and if your veins look green with golden or yellow hues in your skin, you have a warm undertone. If you can see a little bit of greenness, kind of more sallow skin, then you will be having an olive undertone. If you can see also some orange hue peeking through, likely you have a warm peach undertone. If your veins appear blue or purple, you have a cool undertone, meaning there are pinks and reds in your skin. If you have a mix of both or you are unsure, you most likely have a neutral undertone, which gives you more flexibility whenever you're choosing a foundation shade. Other best areas to check for undertones would be under your jawline and behind your ear, since these are less affected by the sun or irritation. So for example, if your cheeks flush red or you get irritated easily, that's an external factor. So skin surface redness and sensitivity does not mean it's your undertone. Your undertone what lies beneath. For that reason, checking under your jaw or ear would be more accurate. Once you know your undertone, it gets easy. Skin tones are categorized by depth or color intensity. You could be fair, light, medium, dark, or deep. For me, depending on the season, I fall in the light category right now, but in summer, whenever I tan in the sun, I may fall into a medium category. So that means I get two foundation shades, one for whenever I'm the palest, one whenever I'm tanned, and then I mix them together, matching my skin in the transition months. Now, whenever you go to the shop, you see that foundations are displayed by the category of tones, and having a good grasp of your tone and undertone will make your life so much easier because brands vary so much how they label the shades, and it could be quite confusing. But in general, the number indicated on the product tells how light or how dark the shade is. Lower the number, lighter the shade. Higher the number, darker the shade. So 0 to 1, for example, this one here, there's a 0, there's a 1. That would be for fair skin. 2 to 3, there's a 2, there's a 3 there, would be light to light medium skin. Then you have 4 to 5, that's a 4 there, you see, and there's a 5, would be medium to tan skin. Then 6 and above would be deep to very deep. So you can see that there. But there are brands, for example, like Makeup Forever. They have a scale from 1 as the lightest and then 5 as the darkest. Or Fenty Beauty have 100 to 500, but the general idea is the same. Lower the number, lighter the shade. Higher the number, deeper the shade. Then the letters on the label indicate undertones. So warm undertones could be indicated by the letters W, Y, or G. W for warm, Y for yellow, G for golden. Olive undertones could be indicated by O for olive or WO for warm olive. WP would be for warm peach. Cool undertones mostly indicated by letter C for cool or R for red or pink. And neutral undertones go by letter N. Let's take again Dior as an example. They have an amazing foundation range and they label their shades in a way that actually makes sense. If you see here, we have 2W, well, it says too warm. On the package, it just says W, doesn't say warm, but on the bottle it does. So you know it's a warm, light shade with golden yellow undertones, or 1 cool, 3 neutral, 6 warm peach. On the package would be 6 WP. It's straightforward and it's super helpful compared to vague names other brands put on their foundations. So these are the general rules, but there's always some exceptions here and there. And for example, there are some popular brands that they have confusing shade systems. So for example, MAC Cosmetics and House Labs do things opposite. So MAC's NC, for example, stands for neutral cool, right? But their cool shades actually are warm and yellow toned. Similarly to House Labs, it's confusing, especially if you're just learned the basics and expect that labels match everywhere. Well, there's an exception. So whenever you shop at these brands, keep that in mind, that they have the opposite shade system. So if you see cool on the packaging, it's actually warm, and if it's warm, it's actually cool. So it's just the opposite. It's very confusing, but yeah, so just keep that in mind. So here I made a little list with some popular brands labeling systems, just so you get a better idea, and I hope it helps. Sometimes brands label their shades by giving them a name which doesn't reflect tone or undertone clearly. It happens a lot when you grab a bottle and then you read the label and it says Sandy Beige, Toffee, or Biscuit. Well, that's going to give you more questions than answers. This is where the brand's website can be really helpful. So many brands provide shades descriptions online on their website, but not on the actual bottle. If you want to be exactly 100% sure about the shade, the best thing is pick out the brand that you want to go for first and then check their website for a shade description. Okay, so you're at the makeup store. You already can narrow down to which category of tones you're at. Pick 2, 3, maybe even 4 shades to swatch test. Most people test their shades on their hand. It feels like a natural thing to do, right? We want to see the texture, we want to check the color, but please don't try it on your hand because it's not going to match your face. Hands are exposed to sun, harsh elements. They're often different color from your face. Plus, your hands are drier and will react differently to the foundation. Instead, swatch starting halfway down your cheek, across the jawline and into your neck. That gives the most accurate representation of how the shade will blend into your overall complexion. I recommend swatching on the chest too, since a lot of the times neck can be lighter or darker toned than the face or rest of the body. So if you have uneven skin tones, you should swatch on the larger, more even toned areas, and that could be, for example, your forehead or collarbone. I avoid swatching on the front of the neck, usually because it's lighter, since the chin shields it from the sun. And if your body has different tonalities, for example, your face is lighter than the chest due to SPF, or if you're using self-tanning products, use a bronzer to tie everything together. A true tan bronzer can help create that cohesive, blended look across your whole complexion. And also, if you have problematic skin, active breakdowns, or discoloration, select an area on the face that has the most discoloration and then swatch across. This will allow you to find the shade that best matches your entire face and neutralize that discoloration. FYI, you can use your foundation as a color corrector by selecting a shade that neutralizes your specific discoloration in your skin. For example, if you have redness, opt for a foundation with a yellow or olive undertone to counteract it. And if you have sallowness, yellowish skin, pick a foundation with the pink or peach undertone to brighten your complexion. So if you don't want to be selecting exactly what your skin type is, but you want to color correct, choose these types of foundations to counteract it. So you can color correct everything just for the foundation. This is a case where my client has a cool undertone with a noticeable redness on her face while her neck is much lighter. I'm using a color correcting foundation to neutralize the redness and add warmth to her neck, creating a more cohesive and unified look. I'm choosing a neutral undertone foundation because it provides just enough of warmth without the strong yellow tones of a warm undertones foundation. And if you ever are unsure about undertones, neutral is the safest bet. It's an equal balance between warm and cool tones, making the most versatile choice. Now, once you swatched your shades, give them at least a couple of minutes to dry down. This step is crucial because foundation often looks lighter whenever it's first applied because it didn't have time to fully set yet. After drying, gently blend into your skin and then you'll see the true color. Don't make a decision before the foundation had time to settle. Your perfect shade should just disappear into your skin. If you are shopping for a foundation in a store, be aware that you are under artificial lighting and it can be very misleading. It's the same as doing your makeup in a bathroom with overhead lighting and then you walk outside and then you get afraid. So my advice to you is do your swatches in the store and then go outside with a mirror to check the color. Take some pictures if you're unsure, then natural light will give you the true representation of the shade. Another tip, don't trust how foundation looks in the bottle. Many bottles are frosted, which makes it harder to see the true color. Even with the clear bottles, oxidation and packaging can affect how the shade appears. Use the bottle as a rough guide, but rely on the swatching to be sure. Okay, let's say you picked out a shade, but you want to be even more sure that this is the one and the only. If you happen to have time, take this foundation on a test drive. Try it on your entire complexion and wear it all day. This way you can check not only the color, but also longevity of the foundation. If the color oxidation happens after a few hours, you may consider using a primer. If you happen not to have any time, ask for samples, 3 or 4 shades, so you can try them at home in your own time. And if they have no testers, no samples in the store, check at the counter about the returns policy. Most stores do accept returns even if the product has been opened. When choosing a foundation, oxidation is something to watch out for, especially if you had a chemical peel or you are using skincare with active ingredients like retinol. This can alter your skin's acidity, which can affect how certain foundations react. In this case, my client uses retinol, so I tested 3 different foundation shades on one side on her face and different type of foundation from the same brand on the other side. Even though the initial shades seemed perfect, they oxidized significantly while the other formula gave an ideal match. This proves that even within the same brand, different foundations can react differently with your skin. That's why it's crucial to test foundations before buying and let them sit on your skin for several minutes or even longer to see how they truly wear throughout the day. I have to say that these days a lot more convenient is to shop online than in the physical stores. Not only that you use up a lot of your time getting to the store, standing in the queues, getting back home after that store, just to find out that the store that you went to or several of them have no testers, no samples, or they are out of stock. Now more than ever, online services developed their systems so much more advanced and user-friendly. Let's take Sephora website for example. You can easily select the brand and color of your current foundation and they will find you the closest shades suggestions from various other brands. They will suggest you even concealers that would work for you, and I was actually pleasantly surprised of how accurate their suggestions were in my case. Many of the brands will offer you questionnaires whenever you're choosing foundation shade on their website. They would ask you specific questions, give you specific pictures to choose from. This way they get enough information about you to be able to suggest you their best color match for you from the range what they have. Some brands offer a shade finder built-in camera option. I'm very skeptical of this one because your phone or laptop camera may be misleading depending on the quality of the camera that you have. Also, you could be in the room with too much lighting or too little lighting. You could be in the dark room or with the warm shades around you, or else all that could be misleading and you may be suggested a wrong shade. So just saying, it's up to you, but I wouldn't trust the camera option. It's way too dodgy. Either way, whenever you shop online, you can still ask for samples to be sent to you. Brands have developed a super easy returns policy too, so there's nothing to lose. I absolutely recommend online shopping. I think it's great. If you need one-on-one makeup coaching, here is the link for the application form. And to recap, determine your undertone, find your shade category, swatch in natural light. Don't trust store lighting or shade names alone. Always give foundation time to dry down. Do not try on your hand and expect that it's gonna suit your face. Thank you so much for watching. I hope my tips will help you to find the perfect foundation. If you do have any questions, please comment or you can email me. Have a happy foundation matching.